Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2023 single barrel release of Hirsh Gold Label Double Oak Bourbon Whiskey. This is the 2023 release of Hirsh Gold Label. I was lucky enough to have a pour of this last year. I didn't have a bottle myself, but I did get a pour at a bourbon gathering, and boy, did I like it. I thought it was one of the best bourbons there, and I kept going back and sampled it 2 or 3 times, so it was delicious. This year's offering is, as I mentioned, is a double oaked release. You know, Hirsh whiskey started out, it was from Pennsylvania, and it was part of the Michter Shenley group of whiskey brands. It's been sold off. It's no longer part of that group. The company that owns it now is actually out of San Francisco, so it's a San Francisco-based company. It's the same company that owns Anchor Brewing Company. So if you're familiar with Anchor beers and whatnot, so. But this is a pure Kentucky bourbon. It's distilled and aged in Kentucky, in Bardstown, Kentucky. So, one thing I find curious about this, it calls itself a double oak single barrel, and yet on the back it shows, 2 different mash bills on the label. It has 95% of this is 8-year, 7-year whiskey from with a 72% corn, 13% rye, 15% barley mash bill. And 5% of this is a 3-year, 7-year bourbon with the 74% corn, 18% rye, and 8% malted barley. So, by definition, this is only a 3-year-old bourbon, although 95% of it is over an 8.5-year-old bourbon. Rumor has it that the 8-year-old bourbon in this is from Willett Distillery in Bardstown, and basically it's the same stuff that goes in there, Willett Family Reserve. And the older bourbon releases of that are known as the Willett Purple Top bottles. So if you're on the lookout for anything like that, you might think about something like this. The other 5% that's in here is from another Bardstown distillery. So, there's a debate whether that is Bardstown Bourbon Company or Barton. Could be either one. Some people think it's one or the other. So, but it's only 5% of that. What's odd to me is it calls itself a single barrel, and yet clearly it comes from 2 different whiskeys. I think what happens there is, obviously, with the angel share, with the evaporation that happens in a bottle during aging, you don't have a full barrel anymore. So what they're doing is they're basically, putting this into a second barrel to do the double oak part of it. And they're topping it off with that second bourbon to, hopefully, help smooth off that flavor profile and do whatever, but they can basically, fill that second barrel all the way up, age it a little longer, then dump that and bottle it as a single barrel, even though there were 2 whiskeys that went into it. So that's my understanding anyway. So this does come in at this particular bottle I have, which is labeled as bottle GLD, which I believe just stands for Gold Label, 23006. So this, I think, is the 6th barrel of this that they bottled this year. I believe they're only doing 30 barrels of this, so this would be the 6th of those 30 barrels. And since they are topping them back off to that double maturation on that, they are getting about 250 bottles per barrel. So you can do the math on how many bottles are out there. 30 barrels times 250 bottles per barrel. That's what's out there, and that's it. So, but this is, like I say, barrel number 6 from this year. But on the nose, oh wow, that's a nice nose. Very deep and flavorful. Definitely gets some oak. Get a little sweetness, a little fruitiness on the nose. I'm not getting any alcohol forwardness on that. It's tamed down from that respect. This is 128.2 proof. So this particular barrel. Comes in at 64.1%, so 128.2 proof. But if anything, that nose, you can smell a little age on that. I believe it doesn't smell real young, and it just smells, like a nice well-aged bourbon. Hate to use the word smooth, but it's almost like a nice smooth nose on that. So, all right, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Nice. First thing that hit me was the viscosity on that. It's definitely got a good viscous level there that coated my mouth. The spice is there on the tongue. Nothing super overpowering. I wouldn't necessarily call it a cinnamon spice either. I know I gravitate towards cinnamon quite often. It's definitely spicy, but it's more of just other, baking spices on, just a well-rounded spice level. Good warmth going down. Once again, 128 proof. It's not hot. It's not, not burning at all. Great easy, warmth and spice level. The sweetness that I smell on the nose, I'm not really getting on the taste so much. I wouldn't say the oakiness or the wood stands out either. It's more like a tobacco or a leather, type note I get on that. And, the tiny bit of sweetness I get is of a dark fruit variety, almost like a raisin or something like that. So, or a stewed fruit. Certainly not a sharp or bright fresh fruit. It's definitely more of a cooked fruit. But I could go with raisin on that too. So, very nice, very nice. I don't know how I don't have last year's bottle that I enjoyed so much to compare this to. My memory of that is it was amazing. This is definitely a great bottle. I mean, probably one of the best bottles I've had so far this year. But I can't rank against last year's. Unfortunately, I wish I could. The price on this is right at $100. Being, let's call it an 8-year age stated, with the 95% of it being 8 years. $100 is not a great price. It's not crazy overpriced or anything. I think if you could pick this up for that retail price, I think it's definitely worth picking up. I think you can't go wrong with it. I'm certainly happy that I picked it up at that price. Not disappointed at all. But I wouldn't go more than that. Yeah, the nose is very pleasant. The taste, the finish. It does have that nice viscosity, that subtle warmth. The spice level is nice. The finish is I wouldn't call it a long finish, but it's at least a medium finish. So it does linger for a bit. The warmth goes away quickly. The spice is what lingers for a bit, and then some of those other flavors come out. Some of that fruit flavor and stuff comes out on the tail end there. So I'm enjoying it. All right, I know there's a couple other releases of Hirsh out there. They have a teal label, a bluish green label that is kind of their base offering. I haven't seen great reviews on that. I know more recently they've had a cognac finished release, which I think got mixed reviews. It's even more expensive than this, so if you think this is overpriced, I think that one definitely is. But yeah, I think all the releases are different people might enjoy different than others. So be on the lookout for this. It's not available in all states. I don't know what the distribution is, but I know it's only a handful of states. If you don't see it on the shelves in your store, maybe you can find it online. Pick it up there. If you could get this for at or near retail, it's probably worth a shot. At least I think it is. But I'll let you be the judge of that. So, all right, hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave some comments down below if you've ever tried Hirsh or any of the Hirsh releases or not. If you've seen it, if you haven't, this single barrel, I think this is only the second or third time they've released this. So, hopefully this will be, great going forward. I think it's been great so far. So, time will tell. Remember, everybody, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon. The best bourbon comes from Kentucky. Cheers.